Hi there, this is John Foster here. So I'm embarking on the project for LEDs. So got some LEDs to install on the front headlights and the front spotlights, and also some LEDs to do on the rear tail lights. So as you can see here, you can go and buy LED units that will fit the unit and fit straight in, but I've decided to embark on doing them myself. So you will need, for the LEDs, different resistors for the front LEDs, the white ones, and different resistors for the rear LEDs, the red ones. I'm doing a basic setup for 4 white ones for the front and 2 red for the back for the time being. I might potentially look at doing some more, but we'll see. So I'm using mine through a switch. This is a switch that I've used on my other Tamiya TT02 chassis, very similar. The switch is controlled using a spare port on your receiver, 3rd channel, 4th channel, etc. You have the input for the battery. Whichever battery you use, you can use the main power pack, or you can use a separate hump receiver pack if you wish, or a 6-volt supplier, whatever you need to use for your LEDs, and then your output to your LEDs. So LEDs, they sort of look very similar to this little device here. Let's see if we can go in a bit closer. There you go, nice and close. I've got the LEDs here. They got two leads on them, as you can see. If I can just spin that around a wee bit, there you go. Two leads on them, and you can see the longer lead, that's the positive, and the shorter lead, that's the negative, anode and cathode. And you will need to use a resistor to restrict the current flow. Putting LEDs straight onto your battery pack or a 6-volt supply, you will make them go pop. It's as simple as that. So you do need to use a resistor. Now, I've just used any resistor here. This is not to scale, this is just to show you what resistors look like. Resistors have bands on them to show you what they look like, and if you Google, I'm not going to go through the basics on here. If you Google, you'll see what each band equals. I believe this looks like it's a brown, black, black. So that's 1, which is brown, and 0, which is black, and black again. So that's 100. It looks like that's a gold band as well. So that's the multiplier. The end of the day, that is how you do those. I'm wiring these in series. I'm using them as a current sink, which will be on the negative supply, just to limit that supply of current to them. So I'll show you how I've wired those in, and how I've put them into the wiring loom. Just hold on there for me, and I'll just peel the body off and show you how I've done it. So as you can see here, you've got my two, this is the underside now of the bodywork, and you've got your headlight, which refers to, because the body's upside down, your headlight, and your spotlight. And I take my cables, so I use a black for the negative, and I use a colour version, a colour cable for the positive. And on here I've used, for example, for the headlight, I've used the white one for the positive, being the headlight being main, being white LED, and I've also used like a yellow one here to give me again a differentiation between the back ones, which I'll show you in a second. This is a yellow one to show you this is the spotlight. And if you notice here I've soldered and heat shrink the resistor in series in there. And then what I actually do with this is I run this in heat shrink. I'm going to put some more heat shrink on here all the way down, and that heat shrink will go all the way down. And if I show you on here, and you can see I've taped that on the inside of the body using some Gorilla tape all the way down, all the way down, all the way down, all the way down, all the way down. There you go, all the way down, all the way down. And I'm now collecting the rear ones. And as you can see with the rear ones, similar fashion to the fronts. This is one of the fronts. I'm just waiting for some more heat shrink to come because I need to do the other side, which is going to be the other side here, which will run down this side. Just waiting for this. So, and a similar fashion here. I've already on the rear, as you can see, the rear ones, again, the resistor in each of the rear, two cables, one goes off to there and one goes off to there, and they've got there. Bring them all out to here, and the reason for the color coding is so that I know that again, for the rear, blue ones are the negative and red ones, because they're LEDs, there's a red wire. Makes it easier for you to identify what one's doing what. I shall bring all these back round and heat shrink all nicely together into the back here, into a connector, and that connector then, all these wires will be effectively soldered, all the negatives soldered onto this black one from the switch, and all the positives soldered onto the red wire. So that will go to your battery pack or whatever you're going to use. And that is how I do it. I use Gorilla tape to hold it into the chassis, and being it's nice and black, you kind of camouflage in. So that's how I do it. It's quite straightforward, quite simple, very basic. And then once you've wired that on to the switch, I'll put the link for the switch that I used. Again, same one as I used in my Tamiya TT02, but I'll put the link in where you can buy it from OrangeRX. Very good little switch. It works, seems to be well, about £10. But you're able to switch on your LEDs and switch off your LEDs using your radio gear. Quite a nice idea. There you are. Quite simple, quite straightforward, but a little bit of soldering work, and you've got to solder and obviously make sure that you keep everything nice and insulated and nicely wrapped, and heat wrapped for neatness. So the LEDs inside the front and inside the back, I've actually wired those using wiring looms. So you've got the two fronts on that side and two fronts on that side, and they run down wiring looms to the back of the vehicle. Same again, wiring loom down to the back of the vehicle. Collect the reds either side into this wiring loom into here, and then I've a battery connector on, and that literally connects to the battery, and that is how I've done my LEDs. It will go onto a switch that I can use on the receiver. So this is with the LEDs now in and working. As you can see, there's the fronts. Quite nice, quite happy with those. And there's the rears. Quite happy with those too. A bit of wiring to tidy up, battery pack to secure, and then we should be able to go on to the interiors.